part of why I wanted to do this video is because I think it's beautiful to testify of God's miracles, but I think it's also beautiful to see brothers and sisters like clinging to God and like running to God when it hurts. Hey, this angle. Hi, my name is Sophia. I've been wanting to do YouTube for quite a while now. I think that possibly speaking things out in the open would help me, and hopefully as they help me, they help you. There's so much to say, everyone. First, let's start with I love many things. I love God, love Jesus, love singing and music, and I have dealt with acne for more than 10 years now. Everything in my life in regards to my health kind of culminated 3 weeks ago when I was in the ER. I went to the ER because I woke up that morning with a cyst. I never know how to say this. An ovarian cyst bursting. I don't know if bursting is the right word. I said erupting to the doctor the other day, but that sounded like a volcano. So I think it's bursting. The proper medical term, I might be wrong. The thing is, it popped, okay? And it was the most painful experience I've ever had in my life, which had me in agonizing pain for 2 hours straight. Thankfully, my roommate, I lived with my best friend, and she was there to hand me a heating pad and just like pray with me, pray over me, and just be with me for those 2 hours. And then after the pain subsided, I walked to urgent care. They ran tests, like blood tests, and they asked me if I was pregnant. Well, if I could think that I would be pregnant, and I was like, I'm literally abstinent. They didn't believe me. I was like, I'm abstinent for religious reasons. They're like, okay, just go take the pregnancy test, okay? So I was like, fine, sure. So I took the pregnancy test. Obviously I'm negative, and they just told me to go to the ER as soon as I can. So I went to the ER. Last month was my first month with healthcare. Honestly, now that I look back, I know God has had his hand even in all of that, because the fact that everything culminated in the first month that I had healthcare, that's pretty insane. So first month with healthcare, because I'm 3 months into my new job in New York City. I went to the ER. I was there for like 8 hours. They ran a bunch of tests. They asked me if I could be pregnant again. I said I was abstinent. They didn't believe me, so they ran more tests. I guess some people lie, they're like, how could it be? But I'm serious, like, there's absolutely no way. Yeah, basically no answers at the end of those 8 hours, long 8 hours at the ER. They just ran tests and ultrasound. They did find 2 cysts in my right ovary, and the doctor did predict that what I thought happened, which is that the cyst burst. So I went to a nurse practitioner who worked at a women's clinic. She diagnosed me with PCOS. I actually felt really happy when she diagnosed me with PCOS, because it's something that I've speculated for a long time now. It felt like affirmation and knowing that, like, I'm not crazy, and that I knew this is gonna help me, because it's gonna help me cry it out and kind of be like therapeutic for me in a way. I've been struggling with acne for so many years growing up. Like, again, I told you, more than a decade. To not know what's wrong, to try so many diets, so many different products in my teenage growing up years, to keep going to doctors and them just say take Accutane, and I knew that those drugs would be hard on my body, that would just be a band-aid. I knew that like something was wrong. To finally get like diagnosed with something that directly affects my hormones was like, it's like my whole life has been like leading up to it. That's why awareness too is really important. And I always kind of like said, oh, I know there's something wrong, like something with my hormones, but I never really got it checked out. So when the nurse practitioner diagnosed me, I was like, yeah, like there is something like that has been leading up to like everything that I've been experiencing, you know, like crazy mood swings, and I thought like I couldn't explain, but I really felt it. And lately, like, I've been losing so much hair, and I didn't know why that was. That's one of the side effects of PCOS. If you are listening to me right now and like you feel like something's wrong with your hormones, like, got it checked out. So in college, I just graduated this year, but in college, like earlier in my years, I saw the main symptom of PCOS was to have missing or irregular periods or very light periods, and I was like, that's not me. Like, I've always been regular. Come to this year, there's been 3 months where I just did not have a period. 3 months, like starting April to now. So that's a lot. And then I had 2 consecutive months that I didn't have my period. 2 consecutive months leading to my cyst bursting, and then going to the NP, and she diagnosed me. I spoke with the NP, and she said the first thing, which I absolutely love her for saying this, because my ER doctor told me if you go to another specialist, what they're probably going to do is just prescribe you birth control, which is something I don't want to do, because again, I just feel like it's like a band-aid to a lot of other problems that are going on. It's not really addressing the root of my symptoms. That's not something that I want. I've seen a lot of different cases of women saying that they regretted going on birth control, that it messed up with their hormones even more later on. So I'm just always trying to look for the natural route, even though it's harder, clearly. Even when they offered me Accutane, the dermatologist, when I was younger, I said no, because I knew that that's not the path that I wanted to take for myself. Long story short, first she addressed diet and lifestyle, and I told her that since my cyst burst, I went on a strict diet. I changed everything but the way I eat, which I'll probably make a video of that. If that's helpful for anyone, let me know in the comments if that would be helpful for you if you are struggling with similar things. Briefly, she assessed that first, and then she said we can see birth control as an option, which I was like, thank you very much. I told her, you know, I'm first trying, like, I'm gonna try the first option, and like that would be like extremely last resort if I would do birth control. Right now I'm not looking to do that. She respected that, and then she said, okay, then keep doing what you're doing. I'm taking a lot of supplements in addition to my diet. Just trying to do the best that I can right now. Today marks 3 weeks of me eating the healthiest that I've been eating in a long time, which she also told me I needed to lose weight because my BMI was in the overweight section, and that's not something you want to hear from your doctor, that you are overweight, like clinically. Like, that's not something you want to hear all the time. I was like, well, at least it was my doctor who told me. You know, it's kind of hard too when they just tell you need to lose weight. It's like, okay, cool, like that's hard. Like, if one of the symptoms for PCOS is having trouble losing weight, that's really hard. But she was encouraging in the fact that she said just keep doing what you're doing. So that was nice. It's been an uphill battle. Have I seen the grace of God through this? Yes. Has it been very painful and overwhelming? Yes. You know, I think like, whew, this is why it's good for me to film, like, because I just start crying and like processing everything. I was in the ER by myself, like in this foreign country that's not my own. I'm an international student. I'm on my OPT, and like don't really know what I'm doing. Don't know like the ER, the facility. I don't know anything, and like not knowing what's wrong with my body when I was in so much pain was really hard. So, you know, I feel like I have a newfound empathy for young people that have medical issues that go into these situations. Like, it can be really scary and overwhelming, and so I'm experiencing a lot of valley moments in addition to a lot of miracle moments. I am fighting to see God's grace meet me. I would just continue appreciating your prayers and your messages of encouragement. I read the verse today that said, "Consider it all joy, my brothers, when you are going through trials of many kinds, for it builds endurance." I'm like misquoting it probably. It's from James. Yeah. James 1:2-4. "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking in anything." And that was actually my prayer request to God before. Like, I want to really, really know you. And so I guess I'm going through a lot of valley moments right now. I know He's strengthening me. And I want to be strong. It's just hard to get there. And that's something that I'm facing now. And part of why I wanted to do this video is because I think it's beautiful to testify of God's miracles, but I think it's also beautiful to see brothers and sisters like clinging to God and like running to God when it hurts, because there's times in life that it does hurt. And like, you know, I haven't even mentioned, even though I have insurance, like my hospital bill is very high and seeing it like made me cry again. But then I have to remember, like, God has done so many amazing things, even in finances for me. Like, I have a job now, like right out of college, that I had prayed for, and that song that I love with Jireh, like, the verse part that I love, that if He watches over every sparrow, how much more does He love you? If He dresses the lilies with beauty and splendor, how much more does He love you? I know that to be true. That's been my last month. That's been my last month of life. It's a pretty heck of a month. I might have to edit out all my tears. It's been a lot. But again, I'm smiling not to like shake it off, but I'm smiling because I do see God's grace over my life, and it's nice to have answers. Even when I don't have answers to certain things that I mentioned, I know God holds my hand. So if you're going through a situation where you've had acne for years and you suspect you might have hormone issues, go to a doctor to get diagnosed if you can. Based on my circumstance, in my opinion. Big disclaimer there, but I do believe that the healthiest way is the natural way. If they aren't able to diagnose you, try to stick to the healthiest anti-inflammatory diet that you can find. If they do diagnose you, don't just take their birth control prescription at face value, but try to work with a dietitian or a naturopath if you can. But again, I'm not a medical professional to really tell you what to do. This is just based on my circumstance and my opinion. I know we'll get through things together. I know we'll get through them together. And through it with God. He's molding you to be a warrior. He's molding me to be a warrior. And it is like in the words of Hannah Montana, life's a climb, but the view sure is great. Okay. Bye. I see you in the next video. Hopefully less crying.